Honorable Justice Sri Sandeep Mehta, distinguished judge of the Supreme Court, a very well-known figure to the entire state of Rajasthan for his deep understanding and acumen of criminal jurisprudence. We all had just now, a while ago, his erudition, exposition with that facility to appreciate the background, the purpose, and also that there will be hiccups. Some time will be taken. That speaks of his sagacious approach and practical stance. Credit goes to Srimati Suman Mehta ji. Honorable Justice Sri Manindra Mohan Srivastava, amiable, lovable, with captivating smile, Chief Justice of this state. I have known him now for about more than a decade and a half, and as modestly put by him, had the good occasion to be with him while assisting the court, and we were also together when he assisted the court along with me from the other side. In all situations, Justice Srivastava was an asset to the bench. Certainly, such an individual is bound to be asset to the bench while he is on the bench. I greet and take note of gracious presence of Srimati Madhu Srivastava ji. She amplifies her name every moment of functioning. I must recall that in Chhattisgarh we were a trio. Now, who is the third person? Well, I am not reflecting of a Hindi movie where it may be something enigmatic. Honorable Mr. Justice, a sitting judge of the Supreme Court, Prashant ji. Together both of us faced him while he was on the other side as Advocate General, and because of two of them, I had the best of time at Chhattisgarh. Let me also reflect here that during my career as senior advocate, that is spread over 3 decades, because my career as an advocate was less than 10.5 years as I was designated senior. I had the occasion to go to various high courts, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Calcutta High Court, Bombay High Court, Dharwad Bench, and more. It was my great good luck that those who by my side assisted the court are now on the bench in various high courts. Justice Srivastava knows how many of them are in Chhattisgarh, and one has gone recently to Telangana. Sri Tushar Mehta, I must tell you how I came to know him. In court, I was always a low-profile senior advocate who would go and sit in the 3rd or 4th row, not being taken off in spite of my seniority. I had undertaken for myself that I wouldn't engage more than a case a day. I found a lawyer from Gujarat arguing a case in Delhi High Court before a division bench. The argument was spirited but without raising decibel. It reflected complete preparedness of the fact situation and the applicable legal regime. I therefore could not resist congratulating him that, young man, you will go a long way. I turned out to be prophetic, but I still remember when he looked at me, I politely said, I am the senior most person in the entire court. Honorable Justice Sri Chandrasekhar, I know him more than a decade, sir. Much more than that. And must have appeared in his court in Jharkhand number of times. A judge who always is prepared more than the lawyer, beware of it. Tell my message to the lawyers here. And is a stickler for compliance, and he gives due respect, but in the process is equitable, uniform, which means you can't get attention because you are somebody. You get attention because you are assisting the court. Me and my wife had the good occasion to have an anecdotal situation with him in the airport lounge at Ranchi. The learned judge was on way to Delhi, so were we, that's me and my wife, and the judge paid me, in my perception, a compliment. And mind you, he had said so. He addressed my wife, Madam, एक अठन्ने में 4 समन्वय करते हैं आपके पति. His judgments are known for clarity, and Jharkhand High Court has litigation of contentious flavor with huge fiscal consequences, like Chhattisgarh, sir. But that is not the reason why I was more in those high courts and not in Rajasthan. His presence on the bench here and in the high court should be extremely beneficial to the bar, to the bench, to the judiciary at district and lower levels. Honorable Justice Dr. Pushpendra Singh Bhati, I don't know for how long I know him, but I know him for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. Justice Bhati gave me very tough time in court, more so in the court of Justice Arun Mishra. Very tough time. Polite, disarming, but will never spare a ball and will always protect his wicket. I had the good fortune. I appeared in this court very rarely after being designated senior. Very rarely, except I think on 3 or 4 occasions to count in 30 years. But in one case, I had a compulsive scenario and I had to come. Oh my God, very tough judge. You have to make not 100% full of case of questioning of an FIR, but more than that. Honorable judges of this honorable court, and we are proud of each of you, because this High Court is notwithstanding what impression Justice Srivastava and Justice Chandrasekhar will hold, is a high court where I have a deep sense of belonging. I am today what this high court has made me. And therefore I can say, when we started, there was great cordiality in the bar. It continues to be so. Let me give you a small illustration. I am doing all this because I have no idea and no intention of reflecting on the three laws. Justice Mehta has done full justice with a background being given by Justice Chandrasekhar and elucidation by Chief Justice Srivastava. So let me tell judicial officers, I had thought of contesting an election for Rajasthan Bar High Court Association. I thought I must contest for the post of Joint Secretary, given I was in the profession for 5-6 years. Some lawyer provoked me. I don't get provoked any longer. But I got provoked. He said, अध्यक्ष का चुनाव लड़ रहे हो? मैंने कहा हाँ. So friends, that was my first election in the Bar Association. Made up my mind to contest for Joint Secretaryship. Mahendra knows a post down the line. Contested for President, filled the form and came home. Told my wife, I have done this. He said, don't think now why you have done it. Because you have done it, it's not good to withdraw. Friends, I was elected as President of the High Court Bar Association. That led to my contest to the Bar Council. I was equally fortunate. So I had a track record which were people were very keen, Sandeep ji, to break it. So all got together. I fell in the trap. They persuaded me to contest again for the presidentship. Then all of them got together against me. Well, you know what happened thereafter. So I am grateful to Chief Justice Srivastava ji for giving me this opportunity to be in this building for the first time. It is my first visit to this building. I therefore express my deep sense of greetings to all the members of the registry, all the members of the staff, and I send my greetings also to the members of the bar, people working with the lawyers, and the clerks. In togetherness, they constitute a fraternity that drives the justice system. अब जब यहाँ आया तो मन में कुछ विचार आया. पता अब तक नहीं बदला हमारा, वही घर है वही किस्सा हमारा. That's how I reflected. मुद्दतों के बाद लौटा हूं मैं अपने घर, हर कोने में यादें हैं यदि है और हैं हर हर दीवार पर. When I used to come to the High Court here, my first interaction was as President of the High Court Bar at the Jaipur bench. I was young. I thought, why the two bars must not act in unison? I tried my utmost. I thought of convergence of the two bar associations, a unified bar for this High Court. And that led me to come to this place on occasions. And there in the old building was a senior advocate's lounge. It was a small room. I'll tell you two things that happened there. Rajesh Joshi, a senior advocate of this court, his father was not designated senior, but was part of that team. We had Mr. Mridul, and we had many more. Now, Rajesh's father, Joshi is no more. He used to every time make most of my visit. If you recollect, most of you may not, but some of you will, Mr. Mridulji, he wrote a book after he had been to Russia, खुली आंख का सपना, मतलब वो कवि थे. तो केन जोशी जी कहते थे, मृदुल जी, आप वकीलों में सीनियर कवि हो और कवियों में सीनियर वकील हो. As every senior advocate should be modest, and when you come to a place like Jodhpur, which has a rich legal history of stalwarts who have dominated the Supreme Court, International Court of Justice, and the bar, you have to be modest if you happen to be the most senior advocate in the state. And I had that honor. But Joshi gave me that pleasure and feeling when he would get a book from the library, take us to that section, if I'm not mistaken, 24, and make not me but others read. I have had good moments here. A giant of this bar who chose not to be senior, that was senior in sublime, in pristine manner, Lekhraj ji. Amazing. How can I forget it? Jodhpur gave three jewels, but I had greater connect with two of them. Justice Singhvi, Justice R.M. Lodha. We were contemporaries in the Jaipur bar. Justice Magraj Kalla. As luck would have it, gentlemen, I got elected to Parliament in 89 and had the good fortune to be a minister. That was the time when we did not have Justice Mehta, Honorable Judge of the Supreme Court, collegial system. We did not have. That was perhaps the last time when the government of the day exercised the power to appoint judges. Vacancies in Rajasthan High Court then were 13. A late night, Mr. Dinesh Goswami, our law minister, and Justice Mehta has been in that area. He came to me and that we have to select 13 judges for Rajasthan High Court. Here is the list. I'm sharing it for the first time. I thought, oh God, what good names are there. Justice Tibrewal, Justice Kejriwal, Justice Singhvi, Justice Magraj Kalla, Justice Yadra Meena. I forgot the name of the chartered accountant. Mahendra can help me. Justice? Yes, absolutely. I was testing whether after becoming a judge, has he gone slow with his reflex action? No. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I must slightly come to the subject also now. In 1980, Bar Council of India Trust had a program, 7-day workshop on criminal advocacy. And they had to select only one advocate from one bar council, which means then the bar council in Guwahati High Court, all 8 states won. For some good reason, my enrollment to the bar council was through Justice Nagendra Jain, a great badminton player. So he picked me up. I went to Administrative Staff College, Hyderabad for 7 days. Now, who were in the faculty? Justice Chandrachud, senior, or I don't know whether we can call him junior, but certainly a gentleman. I have no intention of being hurtful to anybody's ego. So I would say, the then Chief Justice, who was Chief Justice of this country for over 6 years? 7 years. And while he had gone and met his maker, his distinguished son effected rectification of ADM Jabalpur. Justice Mehta would be knowing more. Justice Bhagwati, because the court then was known as Justice Chandrachud and Justice Bhagwati Court. Mr. Ram Jethlani, Mr. Fali Nariman, Justice P. Basi Reddy, Justice P. H. Chaudhary, and celebrated lawyer from Tamil Nadu, then Madras, Govind Swaminathan. 7 days criminal jurisprudence was taught to us. 3 observations were made. One, and that's more relevant for Justice Sandeep Mehta ji. Chief Justice then Chandrachud said, when one judge calls another judge, my brother judge, he never means it. Then to the lawyers here, if there are any, he went on to say, when one lawyer says another lawyer, my learned friend, he also doesn't believe it. And third, he told me, because it was a small group, 20 odd young lawyers with the giants of the system, criminal jurisprudence was being imparted. So, he said, what, you are teetotaler and you wish to be a good lawyer in criminal jurisprudence? At that, I continue to be teetotaler now. So, let there be no doubt about it, you see. My response was quick, and that endeared to me to Justice Chandrachud, senior. I am yet to earn that love from the next generation. I said, sir, if required, I'll start right now. He was really concerned. He said, are you serious? I said, sir, before Chief Justice of India, how can I be known serious? And I leisurely, that was good comrade. Sir, if I am known serious, it will graduate to contempt. So he said, no, don't go. Things will work out on your own. Coming back to another anecdotal situation for the benefit of Justice Sandeep Mehta again. Justice Kuldeep Singh, a very distinguished judge of the Supreme Court, known to have presided over the first Green Court, though not officially, but otherwise. He was Additional Solicitor General with Mr. Ramaswamy, who later on became Attorney General. So Justice Kuldeep Singh was in court. He became Judge of the Supreme Court. And Ramaswamy negotiated his way to the highest position, that of Attorney General. So, Ramaswamy, the Attorney General, was a little late, and Justice Kuldeep Singh slightly took note of it and made a lighter observation. What do you think? We have nothing here. Usnika, my lords, if I say yes, it is contempt. If I say no, it is puzzling. Sir, my position as Chairman, Rajya Sabha and Vice President of the country is like this. I shared a great anecdote with a gentleman who is not with us. Giant of the profession, I had the good fortune to succeed him in Paris as member International Court of Arbitration. And he said, we are living in tough times. This was about sycophancy and hypocrisy. उसने कहा, Jagdeep, the celebrated lawyer enjoyed drinks in the evening. I was a teetotaler, therefore I was absolutely a very pliant, easy guest who will serve him also. I served my father many a times, so I was really good at it. Can you define what is hypocrisy and sycophancy? I don't know what occurred to me at that point of time. I'm a rustic villager in that sense, and things occurred to us suddenly. So it occurred to me suddenly, and that was a vice, don't mistake with vice president, vice. That vice is positive. Protocol vice number 2, but positive. A vice pays homage to virtue. Am I clear? Vice pays homage to virtue. I said, sir, it is sycophancy. If virtue pays homage to vice, I said, sir, it's hypocrisy. He said, you have no two options. Tell me, in which category are you? Because these days you can't survive unless you are in one of the two categories. Well, I have always pleaded. I had the fortune when history was made. I was privileged when such a massive, revolutionary, transformative mechanism in criminal justice system was taking place. When criminal jurisprudence that was in tune with our ethos and civilizational values, when it was taking place, demand had been there for decades. People were considerably agitated. Why we don't get rid ourselves of colonial legacy? Why should we still subscribe to that mindset? There are several provisions in those statutes which are no longer in vogue. So this demand was fructified because last 10 years are known for one thing. And before I say so, ladies and gentlemen, I am politically neutral. And I plead with members of the Rajya Sabha to be bipartisan. Did we ever imagine that the only temporary article of the Constitution 370 would be gone? It was gone. Money mode legislation took place. So the voice was being raised from the ground. When would we get our laws that define our life? Because the most precious aspect of human life is liberty. People love democracy because they take liberty as their lifeline. So we had this negotiating journey, difficult terrain, air pockets all the way. And let me tell the judicial officers, because you are the most vital stakeholders. The benefit will accrue to the people. The lawyers will learn from you. It is your skill, your interest, your grip on these laws that will result in ground realization of the benefits. The transition from Dand Vidhan to Nyay Vidhan is not in a slogan. Over 200 meetings in the Ministry of Home Affairs. Every provision minutely examined. All stakeholders taken on board. And that is why, when I was in the chair, we were having debate on the 3 laws. They were so spinally strong that legal luminaries, members of Rajya Sabha, Mr. P. Chidambaram, Mr. Kapil Sibal, Mr. K.T.S. Tulsi, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, Mr. Vivek Dhankhar, contributed by silence. I know you may speak anything outside. You may argue in the corridor, but you help a judgment get scripted by what you argue before the bench. Sir, none of them was there. And don't blame me. As chairman Rajya Sabha, none of them had suffered suspension. My suspension from senior advocacy may have taken place, but I still count myself in that category, and for all time's sake, I have respect. But gentlemen, I was shocked and surprised and stunned also when Mr. Chidambaram, a former Home Minister, a distinguished member of Rajya Sabha, and an early minister of Harvard, gave a statement outside the House. Now, let me tell you before I say so, I am not carried away by this. Someone is from Harvard, someone is from Cambridge, someone is from that. Mr. Sandeep Mehta is as good as lawyer as he is, and I'm sure he has not been to Harvard. And from 86 till I became a senior advocate, in less than 3.5 years after he became a lawyer, I knew a threat was coming to me from Jodhpur. And the threat was with geometric speed. You need not have. But he said so. That I had given objections to the joint committee. I was worried that where have I defaulted? All my life, no one had questioned me in court that I was wrong on fact. I had looked into every word of the joint committee on the department-related committee on home affairs headed by Mr. Brajlal, a distinguished police officer who became Director General of Police and a distinguished member of Rajya Sabha. So I thought I wished to have a sound sleep. So I directed my staff, get the objections of a distinguished member of Parliament, Mr. P. Chidambaram, before me in an hour. I'm always baffled by the speed. Where is Mr. Balekar? Well, wherever he may be, he always manages to work faster than me, but I'm sure in a year or so I'll overcome his speed. It was available to me first, immediately scanned and sent to me, and then the hard copy. I noticed 3 or 4 things in 2.5 pages. and the media coverage was as if something very important was there and that had been missed out. The first objection was, why is there death penalty? I was surprised, because before you have rendered erudite address, and I will suggest to the registry what you have reflected, what Chief Justice Srivastava has reflected, and what Justice Chandrasekhar reflected, must be distributed to all the judicial officers. You will be enlightened. So I thought to myself, is this an objection? All over the world there is death penalty. We have terrorists, enemies of humanity, enemies of state, enemies of society. But then he was in power. And we had an unfortunate case of a girl, and prescription was death sentence. So I found that how can there be such kind of a conduct, and I could appreciate he would have to be not on quicksand to say so in Rajya Sabha, therefore it explains his absence. Second very serious objection by him. I'll tell you why I'm saying so in a while. Second very serious objection was, definitions are cut and paste. Now tell me on earth, have any piece of legislation of the same item, Mr. Sandeep Mehta, you will have it across all statutes. So much so that in revenue laws, we have them transportation. Trust me, my respect for Mr. Sandeep Mehta is on account of his sharp clarity on criminal jurisprudence. It is an area where you cannot hoodwink the judge. A judge at the trial court is always more possessed of the complete file than the lawyer. His grip on the facts is faultless, and he knows the law, and lawyers are there to make him know about it. I therefore appeal to judicial officers. You might suffer. These laws have come. They will take time. We have to understand them. Even we have to change the nomenclature. Sir, first reflect. Let me say, Evidence Act. Over the years, there has been qualitative change. The basic concept, the normal rule, which we have seen over the centuries, presumption of innocence, was varied by Evidence Act. The definition of rape had undergone change. In various provisions of penal code, we had amendments. We had to struggle as lawyers. Now the judges at the trial court level and the lawyers are well enabled to take recourse to technology. During our time, we used to have a register. You also had. The register was a precious repository of wisdom and knowledge. Bail can be granted in these circumstances. We would have a judgment from Madras Law Journal, then Criminal Law Journal, then AIR Lahore, and we'll have it ready because you can't have Xerox copy also then. So the book had to be carried. We had to have library all around. When I got electronic, while I was in Delhi, a truckload had to come to Jaipur and my library has to be distributed among 7 lawyers. Labor going to one, service jurisprudence going to another, likewise. So please do not have, when they send me a glass of water, they tell me your time is over long before you take it. Huh? I know. Come on. Never disregard the highest. Beat the Supreme Court. Put the lady in command. Am I right, Srivastava ji? I know. I must give an impression that I am a pliable husband. And trust me, always in court I was most disciplined. And sometimes, let me tell you my problem. If I went to an outside court, the judge wouldn't know me. What do I do? Then the gown doesn't say that you are senior for so many years. Then it also doesn't say how spinally strong you are. And by appearance I'm meek because I'm a married man. Married to a lady who is more educated than I am. So we have several styles of telling things. Oh, when I was senior, 15 years ago, I had the occasion to appear before a bench that gave me this lesson. Idea is not the lesson, but the 15 years. I have taken exception to an awful expression in the Constitution, subordinate judiciary. I wish we do away with it. Judges at any level, perform the same job. But in criminal jurisprudence, the trial judge has the same power except one, as the High Court has. And that is, when you award a death sentence, there used to be reference, current laws, you may take note of it. I have come here especially to thank you that this is my first visit here and to share my one thought with you. You have not seen the nation we have seen. 34 years ago, our economy, I was a minister, our economy was smaller than that of London City. Our foreign exchange was less than 1 billion. We had to place our gold in physical form to 2 banks in Switzerland. And when I went to Jammu and Kashmir as a minister, there were not 20 people on the road. Now, more than 2 crore people were tourists last year. Foreign exchange is over $650 billion. Sometimes that's more than $1 billion a year. And of course, economy is 5th largest in the world, on way to become the 3rd. Now all this happens because the people who love their liberty, that vulnerable aspect of their life is in your hands. When you have the power, and some of the power generates confidence in the people, major part of litigation comes to an end. Therefore, please, neither look left, right, or center. No alibis, no escape routes. These laws have been gifted to us to unshackle us from colonial legacy, to get rid of that mindset. The laws are not for subjects. The laws are not for sovereign power that was from outside. The laws are by us, for us, and to be translated into reality by us. I know already there is an issue before Rajasthan High Court, if I'm not mistaken. I got an input. 2 single judges have disagreed on one of these or given varying opinions on the same issue. It happens. Justice Mr. Tushar Mehta will bear me out. When you had a new amendment in the Arbitration Act, Bombay High Court took one view and Patna High Court took another view. And people like me, then senior advocates, enormously benefited. Because we are the most exploitative category in the world. We senior advocates. So, please, be in mission mode. Be passionate about it. People need it. If you examine the various facets, first investigation, you'll find revolutionary changes have come. Initially, everyone was helpless if that 15-day period was over, not any longer. If you come to admissibility of evidence that you can electronically secure, provisions had been made in the Evidence Act earlier for a variety of reasons. They were so technical that they became scapegoats. Admissibility of that material in any trial became vulnerable from day one because that particular certificate under Section 64 capital B. I'm not practicing, I don't charge any longer. Therefore, I seek assistance. And likewise, handhold everyone. I know bar is enormously talented and always open. Handhold. Your preparation, your involvement, your grip in these laws will determine the success of this revolutionary step. Well, I shouldn't be taking any more time because what they don't do is that after taking this water, if I be still here after 5 short minutes, then none of you will be around to save me from the ultimate wrath. Thank you so much for your patience and audience.